Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good afternoon, everyone. First of all, thank you very much for joining this lectures this afternoon. Actually, I preparing this lecture for my bachelor students under the subject of architecture inquiries. While the student were required to write an academic papers at the end of their subjects. So I'm giving these lectures. It's a short lecture. Hopefully we can finish within 30 to 40 minutes. It's talk about the practicals, the process and practical of writings and academic papers. Uh, as you may know, writing an academic papers is, some people say it's difficult. Some people say it's very tricky and very complicated, but actually it's not. Writing academic papers is not rocket science. You can easily develop the papers. Even though you need some times to finish it. But you need to do it your own. I think for my student later on, especially my bachelor students, when you're writing your academic paper, number one, try not to use your AI. Never ask your AI to do paper for you. You can use their informations that you gather from them to support your writing, but do not ask them to write for you. That is not say is wrong, not only wrong, but I think is unethical. Uh, what but you can use the information that you get from your AI to support your statement. But do not, as I said, I repeat again, do not ask them to write for you. That is wrong. And for my bachelor students, for your assignment also, we don't worry, we have so many checkers. We have some tools, some software, and some other things to check your papers. So we can easily track and easily recognize if you're using AI to do your assignments. So please don't do that. So, but you can use that to support what you write. So back to the writing academic papers. Writing academic paper is not rocket science, as I said. It's not difficult. So today's these lectures is basically we'll be talking about the practical and the summary of the process of writing for academic papers. So I'm combining lots of my experience, at the same time some tips and some tricks for you to make your writing of papers is easier. So that you can follow step by step of it, and you can try writing your papers. Before these lectures, I deliver lectures on mind map. You developing your mind map for your academic papers. I think that process is a very important process. I think either my bachelor student or my postgraduate student that joining this afternoons, both of you have written, have attending the lecture. You have both, all of you have drafting your mind maps, on the papers. So actually the mind map was designed to help you to write your academic papers. So based on my experience, if you write your mind map accordingly, you will be able to write your paper also nicely. Normally students who are able to write a good mind maps, they are able to write a good papers. That is as simple as that, because the content of your paper is actually explore and explain in your mind maps. So mind map is like a tools for you to easily construct your papers. I think that is the idea. But today's we're going to follow up that lecture. Not just working on the mind map. Now, after you finish up your mind map, you're going to construct your papers. So this is the lecture to continue your works on your mind maps into a proper academic writings. Hopefully that is clear for all of you here. Okay. Allow me to share some screens here. Wait for a while. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. Okay, please kindly or do let me know, yeah, if my slide is not moving or my sound is not clear, so that I can reset, yeah, I can trace back my presentations, yeah, just in case you miss some part of it. Okay. So as you can see in this title, we're going to talk about step by steps on how to write and publish in reputable and index journals. Yeah. Normally I deliver in the workshop mode. Yeah. So the student or the participant will work together with me. Yeah. To develop their papers. Yeah. So normally they already finished up their mind map. So they drafted their papers. So they bring up the papers. So we come together to check it one by one, yeah, one part and another part, yeah. I think that is the process that I normally go through, yeah. Okay. Before you write your papers, there are four principles that is extremely important, yeah, that's very very important for you to be clear and to be understood, yeah, before you write your papers, yeah. Number one, there are four principle, yeah. Number one, if you write an academic papers, please be correct. Yeah? Be correct means that do not falsify your data. Yeah, do not falsify. I mean, some people they did an experiment, but when the data is not following what they want, they change the data. I think that is wrong. Yeah. Or you didn't do your experiment, but you claim that you presenting your data in your paper. I think that is not right. Yeah. So please be correct. Yeah. Doing it truthfully and be correct on writing your papers. Yeah. Okay. Secondly is that the second principle they call it be concise. Yeah. Be concise mean because our academic paper is not like a book. Yeah. If you're writing a book, you can write 100, 200, even 500 page of books. Yeah. But in paper writings, your paper will be very short. Yeah. Some papers only 7 page. Yeah. Some other paper in architecture can go up to 20 page. Yeah. But majority, it goes between 10 to 20 page. Yeah. Majorities. Yeah. Of course, we have some papers can go up to 40 page, 50 page. Yeah. But that is not common. Yeah. Uh, I can show you some sample of the papers. The one that I shared before might be more than 20 page, yeah, maybe, yeah, but not all journal is actually more than 20 page. Majorities is between 10 to 20 page. Yeah, I think that is a normal length of the journal. If you go more than that, sometimes the journal will ask you to pay more because you need extra page. Yeah, so the extra page mean extra fee that you need to pay to the journals. Yeah, I think that's happening to some of the journals. So be concise. So when you're writing an academic papers, it's not writing a books. Yeah, you don't have to say unnecessary words. You go direct straight to the point. The thing that important that you like to say. So you present your introduction, you present your data. So today's the step is very clear. You just follow the steps. Do not add extra. Yeah, then but you can publish. You can write your paper accordingly. Yeah. That's the second one. So be concise. So do not go like history class. Yeah, don't go for too much. Yeah, we don't want you to write histories of things in the very lengthy manner. Yeah. Okay. The third one is that you must be consistent. Be consistent means that if you use certain terms, yeah, for example, adaptive reuse, for example, yeah, you cannot change it into conservation, for example, or you cannot use other form. If you adaptive reuse at the beginning, you use adaptive reuse until the end. Yeah. So if you use certain terms, for example, this morning in our presentation, we have social resilience. So when you talk about the social resilience, you must be using the same words until the end of your papers. Yeah, do not change it to social strength, social in activities or social cohesion. These are different terms. Yeah. Remember, in academic, every term matters. Yeah, every term matters. So if you use one term and you use another term in another part of the papers, so people will questioning which one actually you're referring. Yeah, because for every term that you use, you must be consistent of using it until the end of your paper. Yeah, do not change change term easily. Yes, be consistent. So if you use certain term, certain formulas, certain picture drawing to support your thing, use that consistently. Yeah. If you use certain citing methods, yeah, say citation methods. For example, your citation was last name of the authors and then the year, then you use that for the whole of your paper. Yeah, do not change it. Yeah, for example, some people when they write a paper, they write citation first name and the years. The next one, they change it to last name and year. Then middle name and year. So you cannot use that. You use the same consistent pattern. It's a system. You do not change. Be consistent. You do not change across the papers writings. And lastly, yeah, which is very, very important, is to be clear. Yeah, because many papers, many writings, or many articles actually is not clear. Yeah. So remember, if people don't agree with your papers, it's not your problem. So in academic writing, agree or disagree is not your problem. Yeah. If people disagree, don't like or things, it's not your problem. It's their problem. Yeah. But if people don't understand what you're writing, that is your problem. That is your mistake. Means that you are not clear enough to explain to them. Okay, I repeat again. When you write your paper, please take into account these four principles. Be correct, be concise, be consistent, and be clear. This is a thing that you have to hold, yeah, when you're writing any academic papers. Okay. Okay. There are in common elements of academic papers. Yeah, majority of academic papers was written in these elements. Yeah, these are the component or important elements of an academic papers. Yeah, number one, you need to have a title. Yeah, there's a title or topics. Yeah, in front of your at the tops of your papers. Yeah. Then after the titles, you need to have an abstract. Yeah, abstract is basically a summary of what the papers is about in the short form. Yeah, I think if you did your mind map accordingly, you will be able to write your abstract easily. Okay. Then the third part, they call it keywords. Yeah, keyword is a chosen words that you choose to help people to search your papers. Yeah, so the keyword is basically the label of your papers. Yeah, they are very, very important, but most of the people, they miss this part. Yeah, so title, abstract, and keyword is an important element for indexing and searching of your papers. Yeah, so these three, you have to maximize it. You have to use it accordingly. Yeah, so that your paper can easily be found. People can easily refer to your papers easily. Yeah, that is the purpose of these three components. Then after these three components, yeah, you have what we call IMRAT. IMRAT is the main text. So IMRAT means introduction, method, result, and discussion. Yeah. So these four components is the main text of your papers. Yeah. So I'm going to teach you to write all one by one. Yeah. So in writing an IMRAT, yeah, you have to be concise and follow journal manuscript guideline. Yes, you have to be very careful. Sometimes some certain journal they have certain guideline. Yeah, for example, if they want you to write to put a pictures, they put specifically the picture must be certain DPI. Yeah, if you citing some other people works, you must to use MLA, maybe you must do APA. So depending on the journal guideline. Yeah. Okay. Then after you finish up your IMRAT, you need to have your conclusion, and then your acknowledgement, your reference, and lastly your supplementary material. Yeah. So today's in these lectures, we're going to talk about this element one by one. Yeah. So if you have your paper draft or paper that you have drafted, yeah, you can start open up your papers and we can check together. Yeah. So normally in my workshops, I will let the student to draft their papers, then they do checking their paper with me with these lectures. Yeah. Okay. Let's start with a basic one. So when you're writing your mind maps, you start with the introduction part, yeah, which is your issues, your problem, your research scenarios. Yeah, these are the parts when the IMRAT introduction part of your paper. Then go your methodology, you go into your finding, discussion, and conclusion. Then go back to your abstract. Then go back to your keywords. Then go back to your title. Yeah. But in these lectures, since hopefully you already drafted your papers, so we're going to start from the top into bottom. Yeah, so we start with titles, we start with abstracts, keywords, etc. until the end, until the appendix. Yeah, these are the process of the papers writings. Okay, how to write a attracting title. Yeah. A title should be attracting, yeah, so that people will like to read more about your papers, yeah, so that people can easily find your papers interesting with your paper. They have interest with your paper. So, in principle, title should be simple, concise, expressive, and informative. This is the guideline, yeah, and they must be specific. Yeah, you cannot write a title like sustainable development in Malaysia. That is good for books, but not good for papers. Yeah. If you check the papers in the Google Scholar or you check the paper in Scopus database, you can easily find that all the papers are quite lengthy, and they are very specific. They're not going to be very general. Okay. Normal, we advise you to use 10 to 12 words, but it's not mandatory. Some paper longer than that. Okay. One thing that you have to avoid is that avoid abbreviation and jargon. Yeah, you shouldn't use abbreviation if possible. Yeah, because it's bring less interest into your papers. Yeah, and avoid phrases. Yeah, try to avoid phrases so that it doesn't it clear. Yeah? Your title should be very clear, can easily read. Yeah, by the different type of audience. Okay. How I write my papers, yeah, how I write my title, sorry, how I write my title, I normally use this checklist. Yeah, these are my checklists to help me to develop my title. Yeah, uh, as you can see here in this table, yeah, I have 4 criteria of defining my papers. Yeah, and my title, sorry, my titles. Yeah, as you can see here, I have predict content. It should be interesting. It should reflect a tone, yeah, and it should have important keywords on it. Okay, let's look at the samples. Yeah. Title number 1: Benefit of meditation for the nursing profession, a quantitative investigation. These are common title that people use to write a papers. Yeah, I mean this is very academics, very nice. But as you can see here, it predict the content. I mean the title reflecting the content of it, which is very good. It also consists of important keywords. Yeah. But if you can see here, the red part there, they are not interesting. Yeah, they are less. They don't have any tones. Yeah, so when you read it, people are okay. It's a normal academic papers. So it's not so interesting as a titles. Yeah, but if you see the two sample at the after that, yeah, number 1, why mindfulness make the best communicators, or you can see meditation gurus. Yeah? So the title number 2 and 3 is a normal title that people use when they want to write a book or article. Yeah, but not for academic papers. Yeah, as you can see here, they don't predict the content. Yeah, when you read the title, you cannot imagine what is the content of the papers. Yeah, medicine gurus. This one is good for the books. Yeah, but not good for academic papers. Yeah, but it's interesting. You see, it's interesting. It reflects some tones. Yeah, but the other important keyword was gone. Yeah. So as you can see here at the bottoms, I provide you a different type of title. Yeah, nurses on the move. Yeah, a quantitative report on how medicine can improve nurse performance. So in my opinion, this is a very good academic papers. Yeah, at the same time, it interesting. Yeah, and it reflects tone. Yeah. and in consists of important keywords. So when you write your academic papers, please take into account this ways, these four elements. Yeah, so put your papers in your title in this in this table, and you can see the way our paper will look like. Yeah, it should be predictive content. I mean, the title should reflecting the content. So people are very frustrated. Yeah, when they saw the title is different with the content. Yeah, it could be interesting. It must be have a tone and have important keywords. Okay, that's the easiest way to write your research titles. Okay. Then we go to your keywords. Yeah. The strategy is that if possible, try not to use keyword which has been used in the title. Okay. Find new keyword to highlight your studies. Yeah. So most of the people, when they write their keywords, normally they just pick up certain words from the title, they put it in the keywords. It's not wrong. Yeah, that thing is not wrong, but that thing it won't help the listing of your papers. Yeah, yeah, indexing. Yeah, in indexing your papers. So people when they browse the title, the same as they browsing your keywords. So the opportunity of your paper to be found and to be read, or when you people go scholarly read, yeah, will be easier, will be better if your keyword is not the same as your title. Yeah, that was the idea. So their index keyword are used for indexing your paper. They are a label of your manuscripts. Yeah. So please, if you use your keyword now in Google, you can use the synonym. Yeah. For example, if you say that reflection or meditation, for example, what is the synonym of meditation? So you can easier. Then you use the same word, put it in the keyword. So same meaning but different words. So the people, when people look for reflection, they will find your papers. When people search for meditation, they might also find your papers. That is the strategy of your papers. Okay. Yeah, 3 to 6 words. Yeah, these are the basic principle of it. Yeah. Okay, writing an abstracts. Yeah, in writing an abstracts is straight to the point. I mean, if you do your mind maps, yeah, at the end of your mind map, you will find writing an abstracts. Even I give samples there. Yeah, but if you like to know about abstracts, yeah, there are 5 components must be in the abstracts. Yeah, so when you write your abstract, it's not like you write a summary of your introduction. It's not. Yeah. Abstract must consist of these 5 components. Number one is the aim, objective of the studies, yeah, the scope of the research, yeah, significance of the studies, describe the methodologies, summarize most important keywords, and lastly about conclusion, practical implementation, and recommendation. So I already put there 1 or 2 words about 1 sentence about the aim, objective, 2 or 3 sentences about the scopes, 2 or 3 sentences about methodology that you're using, summarize most important result, and also your conclusion and practical implications. Okay, let's give you some samples. Yeah, this is a sample of one of our papers. Yeah, here if you see that the study was conducted to determine the attribute which evoke fear of crime and to determine the defensive behavior among park users. So it's directly straightforward, the aim on objective. Then you talk about your methodologies, yeah, a qualitative study undertaken at Kuala Lumpur, yeah, and then you highlight your findings, yeah? The scope you're finding. You just exactly follow exactly the formula, yeah, this form, the previous formula. You just follow this one, and hopefully you can cover all the needs of the abstracts, yeah. So straight to the point. Don't write something unnecessary in your abstracts. Yeah. Normally, abstract is 1 page, only 1 page, and only half of the page. Yeah. Only half page of the. If you have one A4, you only half page, or maybe 3/4. Yeah, that's maximum. Yeah. We don't want you to write an abstract like 2 page, 3 page, etc. So it should be short, concise and straight to the point. Yeah, do not go into unnecessary writings. Yeah. Okay. There's the abstracts. Okay. Then you have the information about the title, keywords, and the abstracts. Yeah, which is the first part of your papers. Yeah. Please follow it accordingly. Yeah. Okay. Now we go to the Imrat part. Yeah. Before you write your introductions, yeah, some journal, they provide a background. Yeah. So the background shouldn't be more in one journal. It shouldn't more than 2 or 3 sentences. So it shouldn't be that long, yeah, because as I say, be concise. Our space is very limited. So do not extend background like 2, 3 page. We don't need that. Yeah, so only 2, 3 sentences. Yeah, unless it's necessary. Yeah. So you speak directly what are the issue, what are the problem, etc. Okay. And then you go to your introduction. Introduction is the most important, yeah, because it's part of your IMRAT. Yeah? Introduction, methodology, result, and discussion. Yeah? The background was before the introduction. So how to write introduction? You follow this. Yeah? So you follow this formula. It's very simple. Number one, you introduce the topics. Yeah? Relate the topic with your current knowledge. Yeah? This is the importance of your mind map on slide number 2, number 1 and number 2. Yeah? Indicate the gaps. Yeah, when you discuss, people have done this, have done this, but people have not done this. That's why this paper is about this. Yeah. So when you indicate the gap, yeah, so you say that lots of people have discussed the implementation of urban farming in the urban area, but not many actually discussing from the social resilient perspective. Yeah. Then you introduce your words. So this paper will try to introduce or discuss urban farming from the social, economical aspects of the people to form a social resilience. Yeah. So that is your introduction of your works. Then at the end, you define your research objective. So the main objective of this paper is actually to this, and this. Yeah, that is the so in writing an introduction, you follow strictly this formula. If I may advise, yeah. Of course, there's a different way of writing introduction, but I find it the easiest way was following this formula. I repeat again: introduce the topic. What are the issues? Yeah, remember your first slide. What are the issue? What is the problem? Support with data. Yeah, do not make any claim in academic paper. Never make a claim without an academic support. That is a big no. Yeah, when you say most of the people in Kuala Lumpur would not like to use urban farming. How do you know? What's the data? When you say lots of shop houses in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur was abandoned, how many of them? Yeah. If you say that the most of the paper was talking about the urban farming from the technical and maybe from sustainable perspective, but not from social perspective, give the data. Yeah? As you can see in this writing, in this data. So always base your statement with the data. Never make a claim or making an opinion without supporting by the data. That's what we call an academics. Yeah. Okay. Introduce your topic. Tell your problem. Relate to the current knowledge, which is the last 3 years or 5 years research. Indicate the gaps. Introduce your works and define your research objective. Please follow this formula because that is based on my experience writing hundred of academic papers. These are the easiest way of writing your introduction. Yeah. Okay. Writing your methods. Yeah. Writing your method is very straightforward. Yeah. You have to describe, yeah, how did you do your research step by step in an organized manner. Yeah, I still always tell my students, it's like when you making a coffee. Yeah, explain step by step making a coffee. Yes, you pour, you take one tablespoon of coffee, 3 tablespoons of sugar, maybe 1 tablespoon of creamer. Then you pour a hot water and you stir the coffee. So the whole process from the beginning until the end. Yeah, I think this is the part very easy to do, but a lot of academician, a lot of students are very lazy to write. Yeah, so then they don't explain. Yeah, for example, if you are referring to your some key reference, yeah, so this paper actually try to discuss a theory of Kevin Lynch, for example, in the image of the cities, from the perspective of this, but we are relying on three set of data. One interviews, the other one may be literature reviews, maybe another one is case studies. So from these three process, we are doing and we are this. The case study consists of this building. So in your methods, yeah, you have to explain step by steps, and you have to explain in detail the process of writing your papers. Yeah, this part most of the architect student miss. Yeah, they just concern on the architecture part at the end, the design. They don't want to talk about the process. Yeah, so that is a big no. Yeah, so when you writing your methods, what the reviewer checks, yeah, these are the checklists. Yeah, you have to check when you finish up writing your methodology. Yeah, you have to check. Yeah, does the author accurately explain how data was collected? Is the design suitable for answering the question posed? Is there sufficient information present to replicate the process? Replicate, want to repeat. Yeah, if anyone want to do the same research, they want to replicate, you want to do the same research, they have to able to replicate. I mean, they must be able to do it the same thing as what you did. So that's why your explanation must be very, very detailed, must be very, very structured. Yeah? Otherwise, people don't understand why you doing this, why you doing that. Yeah, is if the I knew, I explain in detail. Have the equipment material, if you use some experiment, you have to explain the equipment, material, etc. What type of data was recorded? Yeah, how do you describe the measurements? So writing methodology is easy, it's very, very easy, but please do it in details and do it systematically, to the level that even some students, if you are not intelligent enough, yes, I say there are two ways of writing your methodologies. One is the intelligent way. The second one is the less intelligent way. Both are accepted. Yeah. Number one, if you're intelligent way, you put it under certain theme. Yeah, for example, research design, respondent, yeah, case studies, yeah, research instrument. You use by teams. But if you are not that intelligent, you don't want to use the team, you can just explain what you're doing. You can tell them that this research start with the literature reviews. Yeah, I'm reading 10 journal article where I found actually from this 10 article, yeah, there are specific topic which is very interesting regarding the urban farming, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. Then after I did like a literature review, I did a case studies, or I read, yeah, I read. So basically there are three books that is very important in the social resilience, for example, yeah, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. So from this book, I learned that. So if, let's say you did an interview, yeah, from the books, I constructed my question from the interviews, which is question number one, I construct like this, second number 2, 3, 4. Then I'm asking to the expert, yeah, the how I choose the expert, they must be like this, like this, like this. Okay. So from that expert, yeah, you can explain, okay, then I found out. So you explain A to Z of what you're doing. You tell them what you are doing. Yeah, that is also okay for you to write the methodology like that. Yeah, not many students are willing to write the methodology like that. But it's okay, it's right. Even when you write PhD thesis, you can write your methodology like that. It's acceptable. So that people know, oh, these students are doing this, they're doing that, they're doing this. Oh yeah, why he chooses like this, why he chooses like that. So it's very clear for the readers or for the reviewer to check your methodologies. Okay, hopefully that clear. Yeah. Then the result. Yeah. You say Imrat got the result. Okay? The result is a part with what you found. Yeah. Not something that found but somebody else. That's why when you explain your methodology, you have to explain, for example, if you interview, this is what you found. If you do case study, this is what you found from your case studies. So it must be explained in your methodology before. Yeah, for example, so the founding is basically is not explaining about the site, not explaining about the methods, but explaining about what you found. Yeah? Basically, from the 3 case study that I found, 3 of them was trying to do this. Well, they are explaining, exploring about this. Yeah? So everything must be based on what you found. Yeah. In this part, in the result part, do not put reference. Yeah? Do not put reference, because here you're presenting what you found, not somebody else found. Because if you put, for example, John 1993 or John 2017, mention about this. So people say, oh, is it yours or is it John? So in your result part, you explain what you found. Yeah. Based on the questionnaire that we distributed, we get the result like this. Majority of them, 75% of the respondent was responding like this, and they don't like this. So you explain what you found. So result should be your finding, not somebody else finding. So avoid putting any reference in the result part. Okay, so I'll give you examples. Yeah, the study discovers some similarity and differences in the Malaysian attitude towards urban park uses as compared to other cultures. Yeah, these are the find that you found. To the author's knowledge, this study is the first to examine people's attitude, particularly the residents. So you can use the word like this. Yeah, to the author's knowledge, mean that as far as I know, yeah, as far as I know, is this. But there's something that I might not don't know. So you be humble. Yeah, do not say that this study is the first and the only one and the most prominent. That is not a good way of writing your academic papers. Yeah. So, for example, these are the result of your demographic characteristics. Yeah, respondent, everything. You can use a table. Yeah, if your finding was very long and you think that people are going to find difficulty to read all those things, you can put it in the table, yeah, to help you to discuss about what you found. Yeah, in architectures or in the art and design, people are more referring to visual. Yeah, so you put your table, infographic. Sometimes those things helps the reader to understand easier. Yeah, rather than putting in the paragraph. Yeah, you could say there's a table 3, table 4, etc. So you put the table to help or to reduce. Yeah, the main objective of why I put the table is that we want to reduce the pages. Yeah, because like top journal, yeah, normally they only give you like 7 pages. If you write more than 7 pages, then you need to pay $100 per page. Yeah, imagine $100, it was 400 ringgit. Yeah? So if you have extra 10 page, mean you have to extra 4,000 ringgit. So it's very expensive. So we have to write in simple way. So we put it in the table. Yeah, so that people are easily referring to that table. Even some table you can put it in the appendix if they are too extensive. Yeah. So appendix in most of the journal was not count. Yeah. So you mean your 7 page, you can have 5 pages of appendix. Yeah? Rather than putting everything 12 page, then you need to pay extra of 5 page. I think that is not the way. So that's how we write it. So in result, you can use a table, infographic to help you to explain the finding. Yeah? But ensure that is your finding. So you cannot just put a table, then suddenly say John 2025. Or the worst, if you take out somebody else finding, put it and claim as yours. I think that is not ethical. It's not appropriate. Yeah? Okay. So, for example, important issue must not include reference, as I said. Yeah. You want to refer to others, you discuss it in your discussion section. Yeah, you hear Imrat. Yeah. After result, there's a discussion. Yeah. Okay. For example, this is table 3, table 4. You have to explain. Yeah. This I help you how to describe the finding. Yeah. What been discovered. Logical sequence. These are some of the key elements on discussing your findings. Yeah. Do not give opinion. Do not draw conclusion. Remember, you have sections for conclusion. You have section called discussion. Yeah, you keep your discussion, your opinion, and your conclusion on the respective section. Yeah, do not put it here. So finding is description. Yeah, it's not argumentation. It's not exposition. Yeah, it should be a description. You describe it in detail what you found from your research. Yeah, that is the most important. Okay. Do not use unclear, unreadable figures. Yeah, I found many papers using very blur pictures in architecture or art and design. This is not acceptable. Yeah, I experienced many times reading a papers when the pictures was like this, blur, blur pictures. Yeah, use clear pictures. For example, like this one is very clear. Yeah, resolution 300 dpi and more. Yeah, I think that some journal even stated clearly it must be at least 600 dpi, must be at least 500 dpi. So it should be clear. Yeah, the resolution so that people can easily read the pictures. Yeah. Okay. Then after you did your findings, you need to write your discussion. Yeah. Something like introduction, I give you a formula of writing a standard discussion. Yeah. Number one, try to answer your research question. Yeah. So the main objective of this research is about this. As you can see from the finding, is clearly that all the data showing that something like this. So you're answering that research question. One, can you give summary? Yeah, summary of the finding. For example, from your questionnaire, from your interview, from your case study. These are the finding that you found. Yeah. Then, if you're an unexpected finding, you explain that. Then you establish your novelties. Okay. In finding, you have to compare what you found with other similar research. Lots of finding, they don't do a comparison, they don't do a critical analysis with other similar research. That's why I'm asking you to write, to search, to read last 3 years or last 5 years of similar research. So you can say that, okay, in my research, I found something like this, but this finding is not same as what did by this person. This result was supporting what these people have done in the research like this. So that's why your slide in your mind map, there's a slide of last 3 years, you call it research scenarios, yeah, last 3 years or last 5 years research is very important. Yeah, establish novelty, explain discrepancy if you have, then project further possible research. So this is the content of your discussion. So basically, all of this, you need to discuss your finding with other research, other similar research. Yeah, that's what we call a discussion or analysis. You analyze it, analyze, you compare it, what you whether your finding was the same, in line, in contrast. Yeah, so all these things is very important. Okay. Yeah, here as you can see, you must respond what the result mean. Easier section to write, but hardest section to get right. Yeah, very difficult to write this section. Discussion is the one of the most important of your papers. Yeah. So when you discuss, mean that we can see your level of your critical thinking. Yeah. You should be able to do it critically. You criticize, you compare, you support, you in contrasting some finding. That's how the things is done in the discussion part. Yeah, compare by your colleagues with yours. Never ignore disagreement. If there's a disagreement, you have to mention that. Yeah, so you can follow this. Yeah, these are some question that you can ask in writing discussion. Yeah, are claim in the section supported by result. Do they seem reasonable? Have the authors indicate how the result relate to the expectation? Yeah, etc. So you can ask this question to help you constructing your discussion. Okay, yeah, this is a sample of discussion as you can see here. Like other countries in the world, Malaysia want to use urban parks for multiple purposes, including active and passive activities. So I don't explain this thing in paragraph. I put a table. Yeah, the table mentioning active and passive activities. Although the use of green space is primarily for passive activities, active activities spot were among the main use green space in UK, as mentioned in DUNET. So you have your reference in your discussion section. So on, or if you are writing your master or academic thesis, it was in chapter 5. Yeah, chapter 4 chapter 1 will be introduction. Chapter 2 will be your literature review. Chapter 3 will be your methodologies. Chapter 4 will be your finding. Chapter 5 will be your discussion or analysis. Yeah. So in chapter 5, you are allowed to put reference. Yeah. Because you're comparing to other people. Yeah, like Danet, August, Osguner. Yeah. So here you can see that we are comparing with others. We are putting our critical thinking. Yeah. A study in Lincoln Park found that whites are more involved. Yeah. Asian, Latino, etc. by Gobster. Yeah. So you're comparing what you found with other people findings. That's why if you don't read your papers accordingly, doing your assignment one, yeah, for the architecture inquiry subject, you will find it very difficult to write this section because you don't read it. Yeah, you just read the summary. Yeah, that's why I ask you to read 10 papers. It's not just simply find the papers, but I would like you to read one by one so that you have a full understanding. Then I would like you to present. If you remember, you present within your groups and present in your groups to others. Yeah, that is the objective of the assignment number one. So if your assignment number one you didn't discuss accordingly, it will be very difficult for you to write this part, yeah, because you don't know what to discuss. Yeah, because you don't know what other people findings. Yeah, I think that is very important. So for my PhD student also, yeah, you have to do your chapter 2, yeah, which is your literature review accordingly. Yeah, you have to be very critical. Yeah, not just explaining about things, but you have to explain what people have done. Yeah, so that you are critically review it. That's why they call literature reviews. Literature review is very crucial, so that you are explaining about that. But in the papers, yeah, you do not like it's not like a thesis when you have 100 maybe 50 page to write your literature review. But in the papers, your literature review was very short, which is the one in your introduction. Yeah, very short one. So that's why you have to tally your introduction with your discussion. I think this is the way. So you later on, I can share with you the PowerPoint, yeah, the slide, the PDF. Then you can easily refer to the sample, yeah, in here. Okay. Okay, lastly, we write the conclusion. So conclusion is basically you writing, there are three components of writing conclusion. Number one is the contribution, yeah, summary of finding, yeah. Then your summary of contribution, and of course, lastly, recommendation for future research. What you recommend for the future research. I think this is the three component which is very, very important in your conclusion. You just follow this and you can write a better or good conclusion. Okay. Okay, this is very important. Yeah, a conclusion is not just wordy summary of the study, but brief and precise comment made on the entire research. So you need to have your critical thinking, and you need to have your brief and precise comment. Yeah, I think it's not just summary. Then you put there. You need to know your critical thinking and opinion on the whole research. Relate with your research question and state answer to the research question in brief. Yeah, you remember you have the objective, your aim, your objective at the beginning. So this conclusion should be the one to answer that. So if you say the main objective of the paper is to investigate the adaptive reuse among the abandoned shop houses, for example. So at the conclusion part, it can be seen that the urban farming can be used in the shop lot, abandoned shop lot housing in Malaysia for their adaptive reuse. That is your conclusion. Yeah. At acknowledgement, yeah, in conclusion part, you need to acknowledgement if you have any person, yeah, for even for master, for bachelor students, yeah, for architecture inquiry student, you can write, you can give special thanks to your friends, to your respondent, yeah, to your lecturer, to your parents, yeah. So acknowledgement, you acknowledge them, yeah, since they're helping you, they're supporting you, that you can put acknowledgement there, yeah. So that's why in institution, yeah, for you want to like to give a special acknowledgement for UCSI, for SABE, yeah, School of Architecture and Environment, to or to MacLabs, yeah, to your architecture communities, yeah, your your teams, etc. You can put it there. This will strengthen your research significance, yeah, especially if you are writing your papers is supported by research grant. Yeah, some paper was an outcome from a research grant. Yeah, so you mentioned there, this research was fully supported by the Ministry of Higher Education Malaysia under the research grant of this and this, and other things. Yeah, so that is very important things that you need to write there. Okay. Writing reference, this is very important. If the journals, I going to give you sample for this one. I think I give you the format already for your writing the papers. Yeah, whether you're using MLA or you're using APA, yeah, these are writings reference, yeah, writing format, type of writings, yeah, format that you can use to writing your reference. Yeah, this is very important. Follow strictly if you are publishing to journal. You should follow strictly what required by that particular journal. Okay. Yes, follow strictly APA 6, MLA, etc. Reference, not outdated. Yes, I say I want you to refer to the last 5 years, last 3 years. Mean you need to update your reference. Yeah, do not misquote. Yeah, some people they misquote. Yeah, so they quote certain from certain people. Then when we search, the people is not there. The paper is not there, or the reference is not there. This is a problem when you're using AI. Some of the paper using AI, the AI lie to you. It's happened all the time. So some of the students, they ask AI to write your article, and then when you come out, your reference is not matching with the real papers. So the AI fabricated the reference for you, while actually the paper, the reference is not exist. It's happened. Yeah. So when we looking at your reference and we like, hey, this paper is not, when we browse, we use a Google Scholar, we can use Scopus, we can use Emerald, yeah, we can use Science Direct. Yeah. Then when you write there, we cannot find your papers, means that you might be using a wrong reference, or you're getting tricked by your AI. I think that is not ways. Yeah. So another way is that you can use software. Yeah, there's a Mendeley, EndNotes. Yeah, this software is very good because you just key in your reference, then they can format your papers or your reference according to what required by the journal or by the papers. For example, you key in all your reference, then they will arrange for you. Even they can arrange based on the formats, yeah, based on the formatting. For example, you want to APA sixth edition, then they can simply go into sixth edition. So it's very easy for you. It will avoid the hassle of manual referencing. Yeah, but please, as I said, do not use AI to write your papers. Yeah, you formulate on your own. If you like to use some data from AI, that's not an issue. Yeah, you want, for example, rather than reading 100 papers, use AI to read other papers, and then you works which one is the best one, then you can use them. But do not ask them to do works for you. I mean, do not ask them to write your papers. That is wrong. Yeah. Then and as I said, we can easily detect your papers if it is written using an AI. Yeah, it's very easy to detect that. Okay, of course, in some paper we have appendix. Yeah, appendix, something that is not included in the body of papers. Yeah, so example, statistical result, interview transcript, figures, table, etc. Usually the reviewer, if needed, will ask this attachment. Yeah, keep your raw data if you need it. Yeah. Sometimes you may need to raw data to provide authenticities. Yeah. So after you did your research, maybe in the 3-4 years, you need to have to keep it. Yeah, just in case the journal or the people who read it would like to know more about it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. These are some helpful website. Yeah, if you like to read more, yeah, you can read your journal ranking website from like Schema GR, yeah, Clarivate, yeah, your DOAJ, yeah, your research assistant. You can use Mendeley, EndNote, RefWorks, yeah, proofread for plagiarism, yeah. You can check easily here, yeah. Gingersoft, Turnitin, yeah, these are checking, but we have a better checking now with the AI time, yeah. Okay, okay. These are final advice, yeah, for you to write your papers, yeah. I think some of you from my postgraduate student, you try to aim for high quality journals, yeah. based on my experience, if you want to be acknowledged as an academics, or you acknowledged as a lecturer, some of you are lecturer, some of you are going to be a researcher, scientist, and everything. Try to publish in high quality journals. I think that's very important. Yeah. Second one is to try to improve your English and communicating skills. Yeah, if something you write, you have problem writing in English, yeah, just exercise. The more you read, the more you heard, the more you speak, the easier you can develop your English skill. Yeah, I think you have to improve your English. Stay away from plagiarism. Stay away from your AI to do works. Yeah, they are there to help you, not you you manipulate them. Yeah, you just ask them to make your life your life easier, yeah, by engaging them to do your works. I think that is not a good ways of doing a research. Yeah, and be consistent writing and submitting your papers. These are for your ideas on that. Okay. Okay, I think if you any question, you can contact me in these emails, yeah, or these handphone numbers. Okay, I think that's all from my side. Is there any questions from the participants here? Oh, I've been talking for 1 hour plus. Yeah, I was hoping to speak like 30 to 40 minutes only. Okay, any question from the students? Yeah, from my PhD student, from my architecture inquiry students. Yeah, for your assignment 3B, I think you have to work a very good papers. Yeah, so I remember I share with you the formats. Yeah, for the papers. Yeah, for your final papers. Yeah. I think I'm going to reshare it again. Yeah, maybe in today this week. Yeah, in 1 or 2 days I'll share the formats. Yeah, I can share you what some sample of good papers of my that I write myself or some of my students write it before. Yeah, you can refer to that. Then hopefully no issues on writing your assignment 3. Yeah. Any question from the audience here?
No question, Professor.
Okay. Hopefully it's clear. Yeah. Hopefully it's clear. You are free to ask me anytime if you have any queries or you don't understand. You can send your paper draft. Yeah. So for my PhD student at the same time my bachelor student, please works draft it earlier. Yes, I remember some of you already presenting your mind maps. Yeah, I think when you because assignment 3B is quite difficult. Yeah, you need to write a good academic papers. Yeah, so it's not overnight. You write everything and finish things correctly. Yeah, so you write your draft and you can share with me. Then we can discuss in more details. Yeah, then you can improve your paper with that. Yeah, okay. I think that's all from my side. If there isn't any questions, yeah, I think you can always ask me in the email and the phone number that I provided before. Yeah, feel free to ask. Okay, thank you very much for joining this lecture. Yeah, hope everything was useful for your assignment at the same time for your paper writings. Okay, good day everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye,
Thank you.
Professor.